Good afternoon, everybody. Ooh, lighting's no bueno. Uno momento, por favor. The myriad $1 million budget that I produced this piece of shit on. That better? That looks better. Okay, we can see my natural ghostliness. My true paleness is shining through now. I like it. No, still, I don't like that glare. How to kill time on a podcast. Start unprepared. Oh, that's much better. Now the cave seems like a cave, even though it's 3:30 in the afternoon and it's super sunny outside. Ooh, two-handed this thing. Okay. Wow. So we got one podcast in January, and we're probably only going to get one in February, maybe one more, maybe. We're trying to find the time now to get these in. Not always easy to find them. Creative motivation. Life has been a big series of challenges. So let's go with some audience suggestions today. A couple of topics. And the first we're going to talk about is, I think most people can relate, members of the family. There's always a couple that just keep fucking things up. And you love them because they're family, but no matter what you do, they keep fucking things up and blowing it at the family events, getting hammered or causing drama. It's, we think of classic Ed from the National Lampoons. Cousin Eddie, Shitter's full Clark. Lots of challenges dealing with those family members. It's just, what do you do with people like that? I mean, they come, you can't exactly tell them, can you just sit in a corner and be quiet for 5 hours so we can have a nice family event? I mean, they are family. But at the same time, you wanted to have them within visual distance at all times. I don't have a superb amount of experience with this. I've been listening to a couple people in the last little while who've been talking about this, and certainly in my decision to stop drinking, I've heard a lot of stories of people who were that person. Just the uncle's a little too touchy, or he gets into the cognac or the Jameson and just starts trying to punch your cousin, who's also his son, for trying to take the keys away to drive home. I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience in this, personal experience. I think if you don't have much experience with the person that's screwed up in the family and keeps blowing it, I would urge people to perhaps look at their own lives and wonder if they're the one that's the screw up. From my experience, I know I was. So when I was a lot younger, I was the guy that got just way too hammered at the family wedding, right? You go to the wedding and you just get pissed drunk. And while there are some families where that is, let's say that's not exceptional, in my family it is. My family is very staid, very conservative. So being the piss drunk guy wasn't exactly what was smiled upon. You had to apologize to the family after that, and well, that's a bit embarrassing. And then there's the ones that are like, it's not even the classically, Uncle Touchy Hands or, Uncle Drunky Drinky Drunk. It's the people, you sit there, you love them, you watch them, and they keep making terrible decisions, whether they be work decisions. Most, I would say, second most commonly after alcohol problems would probably be just like terrible romantic decisions. The uncle, the aunt that's been divorced 4 times and meets the new love of their life at a truck stop. Like, ugh. You just wonder what's going on in their heads. Like, how does this seem like a good decision? I just wonder how much addiction to drama there also is for some people, where they feel that in order to be relevant to their family, because the family, you have the, I'll get into that actually, but you have family that they're always talking about the different things in their lives, and this one person never, if they didn't have the bullshit drama, they wouldn't have anything to say. Nothing. It would be the empty cardboard box of people. And they need to fill that black hole of nothingness, that empty cardboard box, with bullshit to make it seem like, you know, things are happening in their life. Ooh. And I get it. Having been the screw up, you know, and in my personal family, my sister and I are the youngest cousins on both sides of the family. So my dad's the youngest on his side, and my mom's the youngest on her side, and so my sister and I are the youngest. I've got cousins that are getting close to 60 now, well, over 60 at this point, I would say, or maybe about 60. My oldest cousin, and then they go down to their mid 40s. But my sister and I are the youngest by a few years on both sides. And so we watch these people grow up and accomplish things, get married when we were still very young. And for me, that gave me this sense that I was always the baby, I wasn't accomplishing anything. And so I would have to come with some sort of topic of conversation to join the group. And picking the drama and being like the guy who tried to drink like an adult even though he got piss drunk just seemed like a natural fit. So I think that kind of explains. But when I'm very competitive and not in the best way, and I always felt like I was in competition with my cousins to matter when it was never about that. And perhaps part of why people, the family screw-ups, behave the way they do is because they need to feel that they've accomplished something. They need a quick win, a quick topic of discussion when they've accomplished nothing. And counterpoint, I think it's two families to make sure that they know that it's okay to just be the quiet, steady person that, life is good. There's nothing dramatic going on, no big changes. That's okay. You have to accept that that's part of life. That's what healthy people would say. That's what somebody with like certificates on their wall on how to treat mental illness would say. As a certified lunatic, I'm just going to be a queen about it. I'm just going to be dramatic. I'm going to keep putting Coulters in my mouth and letting the anxiety run free. Always fun to be in public when you've had a bit too much caffeine, when you don't drink much caffeine on a daily basis. There's a little bit of anxiety in doing that. It's fun because, you get this rush of, do people know that I am firing on 15 cylinders right now on a 4-cylinder engine? Not sure. I'm just going to keep being dramatic. I think that's what my family wants. I think they want me to continue to fill that role because if I don't do it, who will? Like, we're going to have to throw somebody useful under the bus to fill that role. So, um, you know, I'll take it for the team. I think the things that I feel in my family, I am the eternal bachelor. I am the guy who certifiably won't end up in a. I might end up in some sort of weird platonic male and male relationship, probably. But in terms of like a relationship with intimacy, no, that's going a little too far. I think these are decisions that I've come to hitting, hitting the big over the hill, the big 4-0. I've been, and this is just leading right into what I wanted, the other, Jesus Christ with the caffeine. This is leading right into the other topic of discussion I was recommended by a fan of whatever this is. Um, dating apps. So, as you can see, I live in a cave. The cave is located outside of a downtown core in what is traditionally called a bedroom community or the suburbs. I like living here because it's close to everything I need in my day and because I'm so obsessively, compulsively regimented. To move everything around would cause great disturbance in the force. But I can tell you, living in this area doesn't exactly help you meet the honeys. A lot of people I live around are either well established in their relationships with young children of their own, or they're widowed because, their significant other was 98 years old and they are 96. The newlyweds and the nearly deads, as they say. So, listen. Internet. I'm not going to hide the fact that I understand my place in the world of attraction. I know I'm not exactly going to be top of the list for anybody in terms of looks, stature. I'm a little too short. I'm a little too bald. And I look like, I hide in bushes and murder people. I get that. I have a very severe is the wrong word. Intense, but in like a psychopathic way, kind of look to me. I know I look like the kind of person that has a list of names on a wall of people that have slighted me over the years. I get that. I'm not that person. You're going to have to take me for my word on that. But, dating apps are not easy. And I think this is a subject's been beaten to death. So I won't talk about the frustration of being, the person that doesn't match like ever with anyone. Let's talk about what's out there and let's talk about how the conversations go. So let's start with what's out there. Good Lord. It really is a young person's game in a young person's world. I think in your 20s into your early 30s, the world is your oyster. There's so much selection of good, reasonable, sane people that are just using the tool that's available to them to get outside of their social circles potentially, although they still have a way higher chance of meeting a potential partner in their social circle. I think the challenge really comes when you hit north of 35. Uh, the social circles now, your friends aren't really hanging around other single people. A lot of your friends are in relationships, and their friends are in relationships. Um, and if you have single friends, usually that's a life choice that they make. And my experience, I don't have a lot of guy friends that are introducing me to, you know, new groups of people that would have single women in them. It's just not happening. I think part of it is that I don't, like, I'm very busy as it is. I know I keep making this excuse, but I do activities. I go to the gym, but I go to the gym very early in the morning. That's not exactly a moment to start hitting on a woman. At 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, she's not going to be in the mood, and we all have work to get to. And then I do a little bit of martial arts on the side. Trust me, I think I could still get beat up by a 7-year-old, but I do try. But that's not a venue where you're going to start meeting women. Although some people have met each other at my martial arts school. Again, face of a murderer. But the selection above 35 of potential partners is kind of getting frightening. I identify as a man with he, him pronouns. I'm not questioning that. And I'm not questioning I haven't questioned my sexuality since I was 15. And before that, I didn't know what the word sexuality really meant. And I don't think kids do understand what sexuality means until they really hit puberty and they start to feel attraction towards whatever they feel attraction towards. But I've never been anything but heterosexual. The dating app would have me question that for some reason. So when you make a profile, you say identify as a man, and there's usually a little drop box like man, woman, other, specify other, non-binary. That's fine. Always click I am a man, and I always double read the question because I want to make sure I'm not putting in I am looking for a man. I say I identify as a man, and then next question, I am looking for women. And they give you a choice, women, men, non-binary, anything, whatever. I always put specifically women. But the apps will still give me options from the other categories for some reason. I find that frustrating. Not because people shouldn't be allowed to live the way they want, but why is this on my feed? Why is this being forced upon me as potential? Like, it's always swipe left, but... And then a lot of the profiles, I mean... because I'm so bad at it, I've been on these apps for a long time, and good Lord, I swear to God, I wonder sometimes if, at least as a man looking at women's profiles, if they've gone to a website where there are 20 options of profiles, only 20, and every woman has one of the 20. Like, everything seems so repetitive. How many times do I have to read a profile with the joke of, why are you all holding dead fish? And, I love to travel. Cool. I like wine after work. great. Love to try food. I mean, no one says. I know it's a dating app. I know we have to be careful of what we put out there. I get it, but no one is saying anything of substance. And the older you get as well, the hotter the messes get. Just molten garbage. And you get to a point, at least I feel like I'm getting to a point where it's like I don't really want to put effort into this because it's just hot garbage. And when you do rarely, and I do talk about myself here, rarely match with somebody, and I've tried a lot of dating apps. When you do rarely match with somebody, I mean, the conversations are. You try to. I always try to bring a little bit more to the conversation. I try to be very inquisitive. Not asking. I never ask. What are you doing today? What are you doing? I'm not that kind of person, but I try to get to know somebody before I ask them out. And the yes, no, one word, one phrase answers kill me. Like I immediately feel like this is going nowhere. And the other thing is, I, as a man, find it very frustrating. If I make the first move, I initiate the conversation, I do that 3-4 times, and there is no reciprocation of even trying to ask me how I'm doing or what's going on with me or what my deal is. Again, I'm not going to ask you out because then I'm 90% sure I am just buying you dinner so that you can get a free dinner. It's discouraging. Dating has never been about feel like it's a difficult process because there's a lot of rejection involved, at least for me. There's a lot of rejection involved. There's a lot of attempting. You need to focus on it. There's a lot of uncertainty, etc., and putting yourself out there, and it gets difficult. But it's amplified by 100 on these bloody apps. It's a hot mess. So, I think that's it. Can't think of really anything else to say about the dating apps. I mean, I've tried, like I said, I think they you know what, on that topic, they were better before, I feel. It's really in the last 5-6 years that it's just gotten god awful. Um, where all you meet people meeting people? Where do people like me meet people? Please don't say prison. I'm getting tragically close to making a pen pal program my potential partnership pool. Um, where is everybody meeting people? Because I'm confused by this. It can't just be on these apps. It's too depressing. Now, I understand that I need to be the one going out there, but where are people going? And if people say just go hang out at hiking trails, I'm going to fucking throw myself off a bridge here because I don't want to hang out walking. Like, I work out enough already. I don't want to hang out walking around 17 miles just to potentially meet somebody or whatever. I don't believe that many people are that interested in hiking, even though all the profiles say it. I think they say that to make it seem like they're active. And then they put 4 pictures of the one hike they ever went on, which they then swore at the end that they would never do again. Like what? what happened to the decency in dating? I feel there's no decency left. I don't know. My friends sometimes ask me, "Hey man, you seen anybody?" And I just start laughing. It's it's not easy to be a middle-aged single parent either. I think that also. I think there's what I've seen is that there's a lot of people who are asking. It's like houses now. People treat getting a relationship like getting a house. Never buy a house that needs work. You want to buy what's called turnkey, right? Turnkey. I just I bought it. Now I don't have to think about any of the maintenance or any of the upgrades or any of the compromises that I have to do for the next 15 years. I buy what I want, and it's exactly how I want when I bought it. And I think people try to date like that as well. A kid is a lot to accept in your life if it's not your kid. I totally get it. But a lot of people now are saying if you have kids, forget it. And these people are not 25, they're 38 and they're single and they're looking for a partner and they're like if you have kids, forget it. I just want to travel the world. And you read their profile and they work an admin job at the government making 40 grand a year. So I don't understand how they're getting the money to travel the world. So you can understand a little bit where that's going, right? So that's all social media's fault. Uh, I need more caffeine. That got weird. Hope everybody's doing well. Catch you next time.